What's going on YouTube? Today I wanted to talk about something that I feel is very important for the game. I wanted to talk about how to condition your opponent as Ramlethal. I should preface this by saying that while I will be talking about Ramlethal and using her as my primary example, these are just concepts and can be used by any character in the game. So I hope that even if you don't play Ramlethal, this video is useful to you. Now, as I stated before, I feel where Ramlethal lacks certain defensive options and has low or, no guts, she more than makes up for it with her overwhelming pressure in the corner and her ability to excel in neutral. Everyone already knows this. This is nothing new. I feel, however, there's an understated strength of hers, and that's her ability to condition her opponent. Conditioning is something that, as a player, I've become very familiar with over time due to the fighting games I've played. I actually used to play Super Smash Bros. Ultimate, and I mained Lucina. Lucina at the time was my favorite fighting game character because while she was very strong and was indeed a washboard waifu, she emphasized fundamentals, which I always felt I excelled at from my time with Melee. So I actually have a little video I want to show you guys. And this is actually my gameplay. This is from when I used to play back in the day, back in the glory days, I guess. Hold on, let me get rid of 1 second. Actually, I should just do this. Okay. So this is just a little clip showing exactly what I'm talking about. So this is Lucina's shield break. And that's your opponent dying at 50%. So let me put this back up. Why is that example important? So, as you can see, Lucina has an incredible move with an equally incredible name named Shieldbreaker, which is what you just saw in that video. The move is very straightforward, but I found infinite joy in this move. And while it wasn't the reason I picked up the character, it ended up being the reason I mained her for my entire time with Ultimate. I already showed you the move in the video, but I'll explain it anyway. So, shielding in Smash Bros. Is a button. And while it's being held, it depletes at a steady rate until it pops, which you saw. Once this happens, your character is left in a vulnerable state where they can't do anything. And if they're at, 50% or higher, you can push them to the edge of the stage, fully charge a forward smash, and kill them very easily. They're just simply stunned for that long. Lucina's Shieldbreaker allows you to instantly break the enemy's shield if the move connects, causing a shield break and essentially sentencing your opponent to death. Now, one might say, oh my god, this sounds broken as hell. This character's brain dead. But actually, silly, lovable viewer, the Shieldbreaker has to be charged briefly before it can be used. And if it whiffs, Lucina is left in a long recovery, losing her turn and being left open to a fat punish. This move also can't really be comboed into, so in order to use it, you must get a read for when your opponent likes to stay on the ground and shield, or you can condition them to block and then punish them for it. This sort of playstyle absolutely appealed to me, and before I even knew what conditioning was, I was doing it to my opponents in Smash Bros. So this kind of playstyle has carried over, and is probably one of the main reasons I feel so fulfilled playing Ramlethal and Strive. So, back to Strive. You guys aren't here to talk about Smash. And the title of this video. I actually tried to find a good video on conditioning, and unfortunately the best video I found was actually by a Tekken player by the name of Petery Mao. I'll put a link in the description to the video. It was a good video, but he goes much more in depth into the psychology behind conditioning. However, he's speaking from a 3D fighter's perspective predominantly. So I felt this video still needed to be made for all of us 2D Ryu playing lovers, right? However, there is one part of the video I feel is absolutely universal, and I'll show that now. So let me remove this again. Don't worry, that screen will come into play eventually, I promise. Okay. So let me mute this for 1 second. This is actually pretty important.
Well, conditioning consists of reinforcing and punishing behaviors. B.F. Skinner's experiments with mice and pigeons demonstrated that these techniques can be used in either a positive way or a negative way. Let's take a look. Now, when I refer to positive and negative here, I'm not referring to good or bad. Positive doesn't mean good, negative doesn't mean bad, but rather the addition or removal of something here. First up is positive reinforcement. Positive reinforcement is adding a reward for desired behavior to further encourage it. For example, in a real-world scenario.
Now, he's going to use lots of non-Guilty Gear examples. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to apply a Guilty Gear example to everything he says. So adding a reward for desired behavior to further encourage it, right? That would be something like doing the same combo on Ramlethal, you know, doing the normal sword and throwing the sword low, right? Doing close slash, far slash, heavy slash, and then throwing sword, which the opponent will block and then jump out of the corner for. That is generally going to be every Ramlethal's basic pressure string when you're fighting a new opponent for the first time, because that is just the B&B, right? That is what is expected. There's no mix added because you don't know what your opponent wants to do yet, right? So we'll go ahead and
Scenario about early example, and block need to young. We have negative reinforcement. Now, negative reinforcement is the removal of an undesired event or outcome in order to encourage a behavior, like when a parent nags their child about doing homework. Have you done your homework yet? But stops nagging once homework has been completed. A fighting game example of this? This is the Anakin example. A fighting game example of this is when a player continuously throws out chip lows after chip lows after chip lows until an opponent finally decides to respect it and either low block it, low parry it, or challenge it, right?
I thought that example was pretty self-explanatory, so I didn't add anything to that one. The next one.
Towards and to positive punishment. Now, positive punishment adds an unfavorable event or outcome to dissuade a behavior.
Okay, so you could consider this to be burst baiting in a way, right? When you're baiting, especially for Ramlethal, she's very good at burst baiting. So if you don't want your opponent to burst in the middle of your combos, you would set it up so that Ramlethal has a way where she can actually bait a burst but still continue the combo as they're falling to the ground if you do it a certain way. This is what this example entails.
Such as King sent the to learn, potentially otherwise. Essentially, last but not least, we got negative punishment. Now, negative punishment looks to remove a favorable event or outcome to dissuade a particular behavior. Consider the example of a parent taking away a child's video game console or computer for misbehaving.
This is very, very standard stuff, just a normal punishment, right? Your opponent, you do something, your opponent, you've been throwing the bottom sword, right? You've been going close slash, far slash, heavy slash, and instead of throwing the bottom sword, you throw the top sword. And now you punish them for what they've been doing, dissuading them from doing it in the future. Now, whenever they go to jump out of the corner, they're going to think, well, is she going to throw the top sword or the bottom sword? And these are, like I said, you guys should go follow this guy, leave a like on the video, because I think his video is very good, but I obviously don't want to play the entire thing here. Okay. So let me go ahead and put this back. So you're all free to think exactly how to apply each of these strategies with your character. However, I'm going to focus on Ramlethal. So this all brings us to another interesting question. Let me go ahead and put this back on the screen. Why do all high-level Ramlethals do close slash, sword throw in the corner? Do you actually know why? Or does it just look like she's grabbing her sword over and over and praying the opponent presses a button? The reasoning for this is indeed high-level conditioning. Allow me to explain. It's actually more simple than you might think. Ramlethal as a character has a number of options she can execute from close slash. She also has ways to reset her pressure. Both of these things are very scary for the opponent. So now we're actually going to show the in-game screen. Yo, what's up, bro? So let me switch over real quick. Okay, so when I say she has lots of options from close slash, right? Everyone knows this is what I was referring to at first. Throwing bottom sword. Let's have them block in the corner. I'll show you what I'm talking about. Okay. So you guys have seen this one before. The Ramlethal runs up, right, and does this over and over again. So here's why that works. From close slash, you can go into low, where they have to block low. You can jump cancel into a high. You can do this, which will pop them up if they're pressing. You can do this for meaty. Ramlethal has a lot of options out of close slash. She can also reset her pressure. Now, let's say if you've done this a couple times, your opponent's not going to press after this, right? So you can actually close slash and throw. Reset your pressure like this. This is committal, but this also plays into the conditioning part. What all of this entails is that your opponent, it makes your opponent nervous whenever you do this, and it makes them want to press. They don't want you to reset your pressure. So that all culminates into this, because this is a frame trap and it's an instant one. And until I throw the sword, you don't know, right? I could easily do this. I could easily just do this. You actually have no idea. And that's why this is so scary when you're playing against Ramlethal, because it's literally telling your opponent you can't push a button here, don't try, even though they want to so bad. Now, once they've done that, then it opens up, once they respect that, it opens up Ramlethal to be able to reset her pressure nearly endlessly as long as she can get her sword back. The only problem comes when the opponent gets resources, can YRC, can deny her sword. That's when the pressure ends. And that's what makes it so strong. Okay, so let's go back to this. As you can see, she has a number of ways to instill a fear of something and immediately punish you for acting on that fear. This is one of the understated ways I feel her oppression works, and one of the reasons I enjoy the character to the lengths that I do. As I'm just someone who enjoys conditioning my opponent. I want them to smell nice and lavendery when I'm done with them. If you're still watching, thank you, I appreciate it. This is the kind of content I actually enjoy making, and I want to move away from the idea of your favorite character is brain dead, as I feel it cheapens the time and effort people put into these characters, especially for a fighting game. People put a lot of time and effort into the character. And when people see things that they don't necessarily understand, they tend to write it off as, oh, it's just dumb or it doesn't make sense. But there is a reason for it. That's why people lose to it. That's why people want to press so badly there. It's because they don't want you to do the thing that you're going to do. It also gatekeeps people while also making others who can't achieve the same level of success feel like idiots, right? If all you hear is X character is brain dead, X character is so brain dead, so autopilot, so easy, but you can't achieve a high level with that character, it makes you feel really inferior, and that's not good. That's gatekeeping in a nutshell. Unless you're a league player, then fuck you. No, but in all seriousness, you know, thanks for watching. This is what I'm really passionate about, is informing people about the things of the game, the deeper levels, why people do the things that they do. And I think Ramlethal has a lot of interesting pressure that we're kind of just scratching the surface of.